Rangers in Montreal, 13-14, minus 140, Montreal favorite, total 5.5, minus 120, shaded to the over. This is where the Ice Guys take over. I want no part of this game, not even close to betting it. I hate both teams. They're not playing good enough for me to trust them with a wager. I don't know what to make of this game from a totals perspective, as Alex and I talked about off air. Sometimes they score goals. Sometimes they're poor defensively. Sometimes they can't score goals. And a lot of times they can't score goals in Montreal's case. So this is a clear pass for me. I'm letting the Ice Guys take over. Anyone with thoughts on this game? Let's see who we got. We've got Dana involved with Rangers Habs. Dana, what are you looking at?
Yeah, well, I mean, look, I love when Andrew sends me messages and says, I appreciate you backing my team. So, that makes me feel so good. I have to go back to the well because there's nothing like solidarity when we're talking about the Ice Guys. Look, guys, it is clear when you listen to Carey Price, he is clearly frustrated. And I love to jump on teams when they are publicly frustrated, because that is when I think a team their backs are against the wall the most. It's like I thought that they were in that spot the other night. I still think they're in that spot. For Carey Price, I mean, there's not too many teams he'd rather face than the New York Rangers. I mean, he has beaten them 11 out of the last 13 times. They've beat them 9 of 10 at home. This has always been a team that's been kind of offensively challenged anyway. So even though record-wise it's a lot different than where they were last year, it's kind of still the same offensively. So I can't tell you, what are we going on the third year now where we're relying on Carey Price to bring home victories every single night. This is nothing new for them. And I think, some guys are in the opposing team's head. And I certainly think Carey Price and the New York Rangers fall into that category. Andre Pavlik will get the start for the Rangers today, so we won't have to worry about Lundqvist, who's had a little bit of a problem against the Canadiens as well. But I think that they'll do just fine against Pavlik, who hasn't beaten Montreal in 7 straight attempts. So neither of their goaltenders have fared well against the Canadiens. I suppose this is a bit of a revenge spot, if you will. I mean, I think sometimes only revenge spots work when you have the team that's able to utilize that energy to get back at another team. I mean, of course, you have to have the talent to be able to actually have revenge on another team. And so I'm willing to back Montreal one more time in this spot. They need better net front presence. They need to create some greasy goals in front. They just need to be a little bit more physical and just stop being such a perimeter team. And that is what their main issue is. They're getting tons of shots on goal, just like Edmonton. They're getting a ton of shots on goal. The problem is none of those shots are coming from the low slot area. It is complete perimeter. It's a complete perimeter game. I thought they did better at that in their last time out. The Rangers have dropped 5 straight on the road and 14 of the last 20 visits to the Bell Center. So I'll lay a little bit of a price here and take the Montreal Canadiens minus $1.37.
There we go. Montreal for Dana. Hey, the last time he said Montreal was going to have a step-up effort, they did against Florida. See if they can do it again here tonight at home against the Rangers. Like I say, this was the easiest pass on the board for me. I don't like either team. Don't have to bet it. That's the great thing. They have to set a line, odds makers, in every game. I don't have to bet every game. That's the great thing about being on this side of it. Andrew wants to talk about this game. Andrew, what's your thought on your beloved Habs? Do they have it in them to bounce back from another pathetic showing against the LA Kings?
Well, just to make things clear on that, actually, I mentioned on Twitter to Dana if he's going to go back to the well for me, and he said, let's not push things here. So happy to see him back on the Habs and trusting them again. But look, I think that these two teams actually have a rivalry. I think this rivalry has been there since Kreider took out Price in the playoffs. I think it's always going to be there the next couple of years for Price's career, at least. I think as far as anybody goes, I think goalies hold the biggest grudges, if anything. And I like this bounce back spot for the Habs, but I'm actually looking at the total, guys. I like the over in this game. I still think, sometimes I think it's a mental, as far as mental-wise goes, I think that the Habs still have a lot to prove. I think that Galchenyuk still has a lot to prove. Pacioretty as the captain still saying, look, I can't get mad at the guys if I'm not doing it myself. I still think that Drouin can play better. He's dancing around with the puck too much, not making anything happen specifically at all. I think the defensemen have to get in charge more. They have to start taking charge. Shea Weber has to start launching more shots from the blue line. And look, I think this New York Rangers team is like another Ottawa Senators team, in my opinion. They're a team that's kind of changing their identity from a sit-back team, a strong defensive core team, to a team that just loves to send their forwards flying. They like to push the pace now, I think. They're a fast-paced kind of team, a lot of short, small guys in their team, so they're not trying to get in those dirty areas. They're looking at taking lots of shots every single night. So, look, Price hasn't been playing his top game. Lundqvist is sitting now. We've got Pavlik in net. I think this spot is a pretty good over spot for me.
We'll see if some of these big guns can come to life for you with that over, Andrew, because you look at these stats for these two teams, and there's nobody with double digits in points right now on either team. You've got Drouin leading the Habs with 7 points. You've got JT Miller, Mika Zibanejad, and Matt Zuccarello that are tied with 8 points for this Rangers team. Then you've got Buchnevich, Shattenkirk with 7 on the Rangers team. And then after Drouin on the Habs, you've got Gallagher with 5, Alzner with 4, who's a defenseman, and Weber with 4. Who's a defenseman. I mean, just the paltriness of these two teams in terms of their depth of scoring. I mean, it's clearly shone through so far this season. So we'll see who's capable of cranking it up. I will say this about Carey Price. He cannot be happy, even though he totally deflected the questions about it after the game the other night. He can't be happy with getting booed and jeered by the crowd at the Bell Center the other night against the LA Kings. That's just not supposed to happen to a goalie the caliber of Carey Price. But the Habs fans are brutal. They will let you hear about it, and they feel Carey Price has been part of the problem as well. Everybody wants to say we don't score enough. Everybody wants to say the defensemen stink and haven't been good enough in front of Price. But now there's some blame from Habs fans starting to slide toward Carey Price a little bit, and he heard it on Thursday night against the LA Kings. Does the pride of Carey Price show up tonight? Because I'm sure he's thinking to him, chomping at the bit to get back out there and have a better performance after hearing his own fans basically turn their back on him, at least for one night.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to our channel. Now, we've put a lot of work into producing all these free videos, so please help us out and keep all our content free for you forever by simply liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. Now, not to mention, a visit to our industry-leading website will warm the hearts of all our SBR employees, especially myself. Now, the links are over there to the left, so do check those out. Thanks for watching.